Okay, welcome. We're going to talk about recording and editing today, and I'm going to start this out by making a new song in Studio One. So I have opened Studio One, and this is the page that comes up at the beginning. We're looking at Studio One Professional. This is what we have in the Mac Lab and what I have here in my office. If you're using Studio One Prime, which is the free version, that you can download from PreSonus and install on your own computer. This might look a little different. You won't have all the same options, but you will have the option to start a new song. So I will start a new song, and I will name the song with the date 2020-09. Today is the 9th, but this next project you're going to do will be due on the 18th. So I'm going to name this 220918 _ my last name, Albert. And I'll just call this record, because that's sort of the project. But you could probably just use your last name. And then if I select here, there we go. If I select here, the default place to save things is in your Documents folder. There's a Studio One folder, a Songs folder in there. I'm actually going to keep it in this Loyola folder that I have on this machine. In my Intro to Music Tech stuff, I already started one earlier that was a test run, so you see something there. That's also why I added record to this title to keep them straight. Okay, so I now have a blank Studio One session. I want to check my inputs and outputs, so if I go to the Studio One menu and go to Preferences, there's a playback and recording device. On mine it says Loopback Audio, which is this program that I use to route audio around in the computer while I'm making these videos. I'll actually show you what it looks like. Looks like that. It lets me get the recording into like the Studio One sound to the video and stuff. So yours will probably say internal microphone, internal speakers, but this is what mine says. The other thing that you want to check is go to Song Setup and Audio Input Output and make sure that you have some tracks here. If this is blank, you can click Add Mono and it will create a new input and assign it. Okay, so we do that. Now I need to make a track, so if I hit the plus sign here that says Add Tracks, I'm going to call this track Talking. We'll make one from one input. So I'm going to record enable the track. This little blue thing monitors the input, and I'm turning it off because the way I have the audio routed, it sounds funny if it's on. But I click this to record enable, and then I come down here and I hit the record button, and it starts recording. So you hear me talking. Woohoo! There we go. That's me talking. If I hit stop and hit play, let me put on the headphones so I can hear that I made something. I'll stop, record, enable, and what do we get? And it starts recording. So you hear me talking. Woohoo! There we go. Right. Okay. So what I've done is I have made an audio file. This audio file is called Talking. If I go to, let me save this. If I go to, if you right click on the name of the thing, it'll take you to the folder where it's saved. Here we go. It showed up on the other screen. So I have now in my Loyola folder in Intro to Music Tech is this. And this .song file, come on now. This .song file here that you can't see the whole title to. Well, I'm clicking the wrong spot. There we go. So this is the .song file that I've created. If I look in media, we have the file that is this WAV file of me talking. Okay. Now, that's because I recorded it, so it put it directly in media. So what I'm going to do now is get a music file that I downloaded, and I'm just going to drag and drop it. It will create another track. So now we will hear this music file. Woohoo! That music file, by the way, is from a website called Bensound, and the file's called Creative Minds. He's got like some royalty-free stuff up there. There'll be a link in the video description. Anyway, so there's that file. So if I come back here now, it copied the Bensound Creative Minds into the media folder when I brought it in. It did that because one of my presets does that. That's not always the case. So if I want to make sure that I actually have all the audio files, you can go to Song, Copy External Files, and it will tell me there are no external files because they're all copied into this folder. So what's happening now is we have a Studio One file, this .song file, and it has instructions about how to play back these two files, the file of me talking and the file of the Bensound Creative Minds file. Let's say I want to make the Bensound, well, let's look at something real quick. So this Bensound Creative Minds file is 38.9 megabytes, and it's 2 minutes and 27 seconds long. So let's come back over here. If I hit 3, turn this into a razor blade, cut that, and delete the second part. This file is much shorter now. If I go back over here, it has not changed, right? So I have told the Studio One program to play back less of it, right? So we'll hear less of it, and it ends. But if I draw out the end, the rest of it's actually up under there, right? So we haven't changed this underlying file. We have simply changed the instructions for how to read it and when to play it. So let's go back and look at me talking here. And it starts recording. So you hear me talking. Woohoo! There we go. Let's assume that I don't like me saying woohoo. Which I know how much fun. I say it all the time, so it could be fun. But let's say I don't want the woohoo. So I'm going to come in here and delete the woohoo. I just hit the delete button. And I'm going to take this over here. And now when we listen to it, let's see what that sounds like. Hear me talking. There we go. That's me talking. Right. Now, again, if we look here, same file. Same length of time. If I bring this file in again, we get the whole thing of me saying woohoo and everything. Button, and it starts recording. So you hear me talking. Woohoo! There we go. That's me talking. Right. So what I want you to understand from this video is when we record things, they show up in the media folder. When we import things, if your settings are correct, they will copy. But if they do not copy, what you should do is go to Song, Copy External Files, just to make sure that everything is in that right folder. So now, if I want to take this someplace else and play it, if I take this whole folder, it will include all of the audio that I need, because this file is very small. It's only 13 kilobytes. That's way too small to contain audio. If I emailed someone just this, albertrecord.song file, it would not play anything back because they would need these audio files to make it work. This is called a reference file. Most of our media editing files are reference files. They refer to other things. So that's what I want you to take from this, and we will talk about some editing stuff in the next video.